on Macquarie Heads in Tassie, and I met a couple of locals and they told me that the weather is never like this, mate. There's not a cloud in the sky. What's going on?
It's bloody beautiful, isn't it, eh?
Yeah.
Yep, Macquarie Heads, Hell's Gate.
Yep.
Yeah, the entrance to that terrible, terrible place, Sarah Island, that convict island. But anyway, great place to start our trip on the west coast of Tasmania.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you got in store for us? We've got
Well,
a bit of a beach run and then what's going on?
This is a pretty easy beach run just up the coast a little bit and back into Strawn, up to Zeehan, and then we'll go into Montezuma Falls, fabulous little spot,
Yep.
and then back onto the coast again for a couple of really exciting, hard four-wheel drive tracks, mate.
Well,
Got a
that's-
lot to look forward to.
That's the bit I'm looking forward to, especially with some of the rigs we got with us, these six-wheelers. So I'm pretty keen to see how they go in the tight, muddy stuff.
You can lead.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ron, you brought us to the town of Zeehan. We've just rolled in here through some beautiful country to get here. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about Zeehan and where we're off to next.
Well, back in the 1880s, 1890s, Zeehan was one of the biggest towns in the state. It was known as the Silver City. There were mines everywhere, railways going out to little mines, up to smelters and things like that. In fact, we're going to follow one of the old railway lines out to Montezuma Falls, which is
Okay.
a fabulous little four-wheel drive track. But also from here, you head out to Corinna, Trial Harbour, Glanville Harbour, all that sort of stuff. So it's a real centre you come through to get to these fabulous four-wheel drive tracks.
Okay, no worries. Well, she's a bit of a quiet town these days, but a little bit of tourism going on with the museum behind us and these old restored steam engines
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Some great old buildings, and this little museum would have to be one of the best regional museums in Australia, I reckon. It's fabulous.
well, I'm keen to check it out, mate. So have a quick squiz at that before we head off, and
Yep.
away
Okay.
we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here we are in Tassie and we're on the way to Montezuma Falls, and this is a pretty muddy track, so it's quite fortunate we've got some new tyres fitted to the 4x4 Australia Ford Ranger. We've thrown on a set of Goodyear Wrangler MTRs. These have got an asymmetric tread pattern, which means they're different on each side, so you can only run them one way. But these tyres have got a nice big open tread block, perfect for these sorts of conditions. We've done a lot of road driving while we're down here, and for a muddy, they've proved to be pretty quiet. Having said that, they are pretty new, so there's no flaring or scalloping that you can get with muddies at this stage. So they might get a bit noisier down the track, but we'll find out when we do another update on these things. These are a pretty tough tyre, a light truck construction. They've got a Kevlar sidewall, which helps resist staking and stuff like that. And we'll see how we go up in this this muddy country, but these things are designed for this sort of terrain. Looking forward to seeing how they perform.
Gotta say, I've been pretty impressed at the capabilities of these extended six-wheel drive cruisers. They're heavy and long, but they've handled everything with ease.
Slight problem, a little loss of traction there. Probably gave it a little bit too much right foot and sheared the uni joint, I think.
What followed was a couple of long recovery sessions, followed by a long, interesting tow job back to the main road.
Brad just had a little bit of an issue with the uni joint on his drive shaft. Probably not in the most great position there, so we're just going to pull him up and have a look at it. Hopefully we can put one out of the rear drive shaft into the front one.
That's a core shackle, yeah?
All right, move on.
So Brad's vehicle couldn't go any further, but a few of us didn't want to turn back without checking out the falls. So while some stayed back to turn the vehicle around on this narrow track and winch it through the steep creek crossing, we pushed on.
Well, here we are at Montezuma Falls in Western Tasmania. Far out. I mean, look at this joint. This is the largest single drop waterfall in the whole of Tasmania. But to get here, if you're a four-wheel driver, the news just gets better and better. The track in here is one of the gnarliest tracks you're likely to drive in the state. And I gotta tell you, I had so much fun coming up here this afternoon. We spent a lot of time, probably 4 hours, and it'll probably be dark by the time we get back. But if you're into four-wheel driving and you want to see one of the most beautiful places in Australia, you've got to do this trip to Montezuma Falls in Tasmania. It is unreal.
After our group's brief excursion to the falls, the recovery job continued well into the night, and we winched and towed the cruiser back to the blacktop. While the cruiser still had front-wheel drive for the easy flat sections, we didn't want to push it too hard in case the front diff or uni joints broke.
Shouldn't take you that long to take me back to Launceston, Ron.
That was a hell of a night drive. Oh dear, what about 9 kilometres tow? Oh dear. But anyway, all's well that ends well.
We're out. It's only 20 to 11. I thought we were going to go past midnight. So I'm bloody impressed. I think Ron and Brad have done a bloody ripper job getting out and towing and winching and the rest of it. So very good.
Oh mate, I was happy to camp there or, leave it there, burn it and walk out. Would have been alright.
So we're going to follow Shane into town because he knows where we're camping, and if we get lost from now on, it's his fault. Well, we made it to Montezuma Falls and it was a fantastic trip getting there, but we not all of us made it to Montezuma Falls, did we, Ron?
No, we didn't. We had a bit of fun going in and we had a lot more fun coming out.
Yeah, well we had a little mechanical issue with one of the vehicles. Yep. And some of these vehicles are pretty heavy, so we had to do a bit of winching and a bit of towing and all sorts of stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, well, great test for the soft shackles, the Maxtrax soft shackles. They worked really hard. I reckon that we gave them about 10 years working life last night.
Absolutely, the soft shackles, the Maxtrax ropes, the whole bit.
Yep.
And yeah, that gear really worked. But your old Patrol, which you've had since
2001, mate.
2001.
Yep.
She did a good job pulling a very heavy rig out of the muck.
Yep, it did. It worked really well. I mean, there's a couple of times I've done that with the Patrol. It's got that super low Marks, super low transfer box. And man, it comes in handy at times. But yeah, she's a good old truck, mate.
We were not back into Z until about 11 o'clock last night, and luckily we rolled up to this joint and came in unannounced, but we found a couple of spots. And yeah,
turned out all right, mate. It just goes to show, you know, best laid plans are mice and men, and sometimes you just got to expect the unexpected and work your way through it.
Yeah, that's it. It's nice to have some blokes along who can do a bit of mechanical work too, thanks to our fantastic videographer.
No, it was good. It was all good. It all ended up well, so that was the main thing.
Yeah, too right. We're here in Zeehan in Tasmania. We just bumped into this couple from France, and they've been cruising around the world in this beautiful 200 TDI Defender. And so, where have you guys been in this thing?
Well, we've been everywhere from France to Mongolia to Alaska.
Yeah.
And basically all the North American continent. And from France all the way to Mongolia, doing all the stand countries and Russia, Iran, fantastic country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And this is only a 2-owner Defender, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm lucky, the lucky second owner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you actually kitted it out for these overlanding travels, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And so you're down here in Tassie, what's next for you two?
Back to Melbourne.
Yeah?
And then we'll do the eastern half of Australia.
Okay, yeah. Well, you'll have to come up through Wollongong and say good day to me.
I know where Wollongong is, yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, have a great trip. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we fitted a service tray to the back of the 4x4 Australia Ranger, and it's a little bit wider than you might have if you just had a tub on board. So we've got these MSA 4x4 towing mirrors, and they're fantastic. So these are set up now. They look like they belong on the car. It's fantastic because they don't stick out like normal towing mirrors. But what do you do if you put on a trailer? Well, you just pull them out. Gives you a wider view. That's fabulous. What do you do if you've got a really big caravan on the back? Well, you flip them over and they stick out as wide as any other towing mirror on the market. The great thing about these is, if you've got heated mirrors, the MSA mirrors come with heated mirrors. It's a direct replacement for your OE mirror, but it's just so versatile. Not only do you get all that versatility of pulling the mirrors out, but they've got a really nice curve in them, which gives you a great wide view. I've got to tell you, I'm so impressed with these mirrors. They're fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's about true. If you're littering, you're a jerk. Or Mummy still cleans up after me. End of the road. At Granville Harbour, you can strike north to the Pieman River on a tough four-wheel drive route, or south to Trial Harbour by the well-known and challenging Climies track. Sadly, we're too short of time to do either, so we're going to head north to the small hamlet of Corinna, across the Pieman River there. Be warned, there is a weight and length limit to the Fat Man barge. Big off-road vans will not fit. From Corinna, the route heads north of what is called the Western Explorer Road, which is an easy drive through an ever-changing country that makes up part of the famous Tarkine Wilderness. After quite a few dusty kilometres across the roof of the world, it seems, surrounded by low heath, the route finally turns west and heads back to the coast. We checked out the beach at Sundown Point for its famous Aboriginal rock art, but we were out of luck. The build-up of sand around the rocks had obscured all traces of the petroglyphs. But look at that sea. You don't get to experience that too often on the wild west coast of Tassie. Let's hope it continues for the next day or so.
Ron, here we are at a signpost. It says Tema or Tema?
Tema, mate. The small, very small fishing village of Tema. Small little bay just over here. But most importantly for us, it's the start of the Sandy Cape Coast Track. It's a fabulous, fabulous drive. One of the most famous in Tasmania. One you should always do in calm weather if you can. I mean, we couldn't get any calmer than today.
I know, you look out at the ocean there and, you know, they reckon it's pretty rough out there, but not today. It's like dead calm. But yeah, we're in the Arthur Pyman Conservation Area.
Yeah.
And you need a permit to get through it,
Yeah. So how do you get one of these suckers, mate?
Oh mate, the easiest way is online. You just go to the Tas-Parks website and pay your fee. It's not that much, I think it's $25 or something like that. And that gives you a full month of access.
Okay.
You can come and go as you please.
Okay, and that covers this track and a couple of other tracks in the area.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to see through here, so yeah, grab your permit and away you go.
Yeah, and fabulous little campsites along the way, just tucked up in the bush. Always in the bush, mate, to keep out of the wind.
That's it. Well, we had a pretty good one last night too.
Yeah.
We were out of the wind a bit, which was good.
Yep.
The breeze picked up. It started to sprinkle a bit, but again, we've been really lucky with the weather. So
well, let's hope it keeps that way. Okay, let's hit the track, mate. From Tema, the track is initially pretty easy as it winds through sandy heath country, crosses a few creeks, most of which are shallow or even bridged, and then passes across low bluffs and amongst rugged rocky sections, just a short distance from the sea. Somewhere along here before the sand gets really soft, it's a good idea to drop tyre pressure. We crossed Greens Creek, which was a non-event, and dropped down onto the long sweep of beach that leads to Sandy Cape. Crossing the Thornton River can be tricky at times. The locals say if you can get across this stream, you can get to Sandy Cape. We were making surprisingly good time when one of our group got bowled. We had crossed the stream probably a bit too close to the confined waters of the lagoon, where the sand tends to be softer, even more like quicksand if you're really unlucky. With Brad's crews away for repairs, it was lucky we had our own store of Mack tracks. We never leave home without them. We were soon on our way, cruising south. into the beach, there are two exits off the sand. The first leads to the camping area, tucked in amongst the scrub, while the second one, closest to the rocks, leads to the bluff and eventually to Sandy Cape Light. There are a few tracks through here leading this way and that, but we are soon on our way to our goal. Sandy Cape Light mightn't be as spectacular as some of the lighthouses around Australia, but would you believe we had Telstra mobile service here?
Well, Ron, this place is amazing. How about this, eh? We've finally made it to Sandy Cape.
Yep, we sure have.
I've got to say, I've driven all around the world
Yep.
four-wheel driving.
Yeah.
I have never seen a coastline that looks this good. This is just amazing.
It is pretty spectacular, mate, I gotta say. And we've had a great day for it. It's been fantastic. Sandy Cape, I don't know how they got that because it's all bloody rock.
I know, and like I've heard the weather down here is crook, but you know, it's a perfect day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. Fabulous backdrop, great coastline, great beach drive. Bit of challenging in there.
Yeah, we had to snatch one of the vehicles out and chuck some Max Tracks under it.
Yep.
And then the Ranger that we used to get it out, we had to chuck some Max Tracks under that. So you got to be really careful. There's some little sections where there's water running across the beach.
Yeah.
And you know, we had the tide coming in, but it was out a fair way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be careful. It gets pretty soft up there, doesn't it?
Yeah, we won't be able to run the beach this afternoon. We'll wait for high tide and a couple of hours after high tide and then run north again. But it's been a great couple of days. Tassie's just a great four-wheel drive destination. No matter what your bent is, you'll have an absolute ball down here.
And I'm coming back.
Oh, I've said that a few times, yep, my word. Well, that's it, folks. Our Tassie adventure is over till we return again. Put our favourite island on your must-do list.